My name is Wright. I'm doing a short presentation on ISD, Information System Design. Going from that, I'll be looking at two different types of techniques used in ISD, both Structured System Analysis Design Methodology, SSADM, and Unified Modeling Language, UML. I'll try and interpret my designs and showing you how they work with the case study given to us. The first part of my presentation, I'll be looking at SSADM, looking at different diagrams including SSADM, including a system diagram, a data flow diagram level 1, level 2, an entity relationship matrix, an entity relationship diagram, and two entity life history diagrams. One of the first most important things we look at in SSADM is systems diagram. A system diagram is an initial concept of a system and basic ideas on how it's going to work. Often it's called a DFD level 0. In my diagram, you can see here I've got a comedy center is the center of a system because that's the case study given to us. I've also got a report. There's another process for the comedy center is going to make reports about the system and all information linking to that. Another important idea I've got is the customer, because the customer has to buy tickets for the venue, including booking, information, feedback, confirmation, queries, etc. Another one is the booker comedian. And see the comment center here is looking to an agency first to book a comedian and confirming also back, and also the agency has to then look to the comedian to book a comedian. So the agency working as a middleman. Other system diagram is often used as a data flow diagram level 1. Data flow level 1 is a graphical representation of data flow around the whole system. It's giving a complete overview of the system at its basic form. Now there are various parts. You've got external entities, system processes, data stores, which all link together using data links. A DFD helps me express the system actually as it's happening and an overview. As you can see here for my system, I've got 6 processes: book comedian, confirm comedian, produce system report, cancel comedian, inquire about event, book customer, cancel booking, and get feedback. They all link different ways. I have also got 2 external entities, an agency and a customer. As you can see here, the first process I have is a book comedian. The book comedian first of all starts looking at the agency to inquire, and it gets back the availability, then goes to the event dates and comes back and then looks at event information to get what information it needs, and then it looks at comedian availability to get back what is required. The second process we have is confirm comedian. Confirm comedian first gets the information from the comedian availability, then talks to the agency, so confirm it, comes back the details, and then books it into the event dates. The third process I have is cancel comedian. Cancel comedian will hear from the agency that it wants to cancel, then change the event date and change the comedian availability. The fourth part I have is a customer inquiring about event. The customer will then telephone into the comedy center. It will then look at the event dates and the event information, and then give the information back to the customer. The fifth process I have is the book customer. The customer will then ring up and then ask to book his tickets. So the process will then look at the ticket sales, and then it will update the ticket sales regarding how many left, etc. Confirmation back, and the confirmation back to the customer. The sixth process I have is a cancel booking. Very similar to booking, is the customer will then ring up, and that will be cancel his booking, and that will reflect the ticket sales because the ticket had to refund ticket sales and update the database, and the confirmation back to the customer. Seventh process I have is to get feedback from the customer. The customer will then give the feedback to the customer, to the process, giving and entering data into the feedback store. The last process I have is the produce statistical report. A statistical report will get all the information for all data stores, including the comedian availability, ticket sales, feedback, event dates, and it all produce a report to put it in the report data store. After DFT level 1 there's DFT level 2. A DFT level 2 is basically a zoomed in, more complex approach of a zoomed in one of the processes from a DFT level 1. Now one of the bits I've looked at a process that I thought would require more information on is a customer inquiring about an event. Now I see there's 3 stages in the customer inquiring about an event. The first stage would be the check age. The customer would ring up, request information about a comedy event, and one of the things he's got to first ask, how old are you? So it might vary between a comedy event might be over 18, so the customer needs to know first of all how old are the people going. So the first thing he has to do is check the event information in the data store and check the age. The next thing to do is check the dates. Now, the dates that will then check corresponding to a certain age of the customer and what available. That then feed back to the customer, and the third stage would be to check the price, and that information is then fed back to the customer. After the data flow diagram is done, we look at an entity relationships matrix. An entity matrix has the process on the lefts and the data stores on the top. This looks at the data and makes a quick table on how they link together, which one links to which. Now the first process I had on the left is book comedian, which links to the event dates, event information and comedian availability. The confirmed comedian has to look at the event information, comedian availability, and has to also look at reports to end of the make a report at the end. The cancel comedian looks at the event information and comedian availability. Next one is the inquire about event. The inquire about event has to look at the event dates, event information and data sales. Next one is book customer. Book customer has to look at ticket sales and the reports. Cancel booking has to look at ticket sales only. Let's get feedback has to look at the feedback, has to write a report at the end. And to make a report has to look at the event dates, event information, ticket sales, feedback and reports. An ERD, entity relationship matrix diagram, is used to show what type of entities are linked in the system and what entities are comprised of, and each how they link together. In a way, it's like an entity matrix diagram is laid out by showing each entity as a table and listing what data stores is stored underneath them and which ones link together. As you can see here in my diagram here, I've got an event dates, and many events. There's only one event date to many event information. So event information could have a ticket price, feedback, ticket sales, comedian availability, etc. But there's only one event information to one event date. Similar to comedian availability, there's only one comedian from many comedians to one event information. It could be there's only one set of ticket sales, many set of ticket sales, or one set of event information, and one set of feedback for the event information and how they're related. As you can see from this diagram, you can see how which ones were linked, and also the reports as well. There's many feedbacks to one report. Another thing we look at in SSADM is an entity life history. The history of the start to beginning of one entity, and that entity I've looked at here is a customer. How it starts is the customer has to inquire, first of all inquires about an event, which then creates it from the system, so starting the life of the customer. The second one we have is the modify, and the way I looked at a modify here is to book an event, so an update, contact information of the customer, change on people from the customer's booking, and also we can cancel the booking if need be. The modifier can be done over and over again many times. And finally, the end of the life of the customer is after they finish the event, it will then be going to archives. The second entity I've looked at is comedian. Comedian is similar to a customer, but it just changed slightly. First of all, the comedian will then start by a venue asking the comedian agency to request a comedian, so it gets put in the system. Second would be the middle part of the modifier system would be the change comedian, change date, change venue, or even cancel comedian, and afterwards the job's complete, it'll then be archived. That is the end of SSADM. Next we're looking at UML. Please also note most of the SSADM was done in group work. Please, I will then attach what is done with group work and what is done with my evidence folder. I'm now looking at Unified Modeling Language, or UML, and the techniques involved. Well, the first thing to look at in UML is the domain model diagram. The model shows how the system's entities link to each other. The diagram is made up of different things. data stores and what a data store containing, as well as the line clipped into each other. In domain monogram, there's normally one to many. For example, in my domain monogram, I've got lots of customer bookings to a collection of customer bookings. As you can see from my domain monogram, I've got different parts to the domain monogram. Everything is scaled from the middle, from the event. The event is the core of the diagram. To the left, I have the agency. The agency has a collection of comedians which it uses to book, and it also has a collection of agency bookings from previous comedians, and that also has a collection of agency bookings. Also under the event is the collection of events. Also, the events also link to reports and the feedback. The feedbacks also come from the customer, shows a collection of customers, and the event also has a collection of customer bookings, which also has a customer booking and booking collection of customers. One of the things we look at in UML is the user case diagram. User case diagram shows each actors and then show what process they'll be doing. For example, in mine, I've got the customer will need to be able to make a booking, inquire about an event, update customer information, confirm booking, cancel booking, and also provide feedback. The agent will do something similar, as in giving feedback, book a comedian, change comedian, cancel the comedian, and confirm the comedian. The telephone operator will work with the customer and helping inquire about the event and update customer information. Whereas the booking employee requires to do both the customer and the agents, including making the customer booking, confirming a booking, cancelling a booking, booking a comedian, changing comedian, cancel comedian, confirm a comedian. Whereas the manager also needs to produce a report and produce feedback. After user case stories, we have the expanded user case stories. It looks at an individual user case story and opens up and seeing how it would work in the real life. In this case, I'm using update case customer information. On the left hand side of the table, we have actor and right hand side system. So the left hand side, the actor will be pressing or doing something, whereas the right hand side system will be doing it from behind. So we have, first of all, the actor will press the profile menu, and then the system will display it. The actor will be selecting edit person information. The system will then retrieve person information and display it. The actor will then fill out the form required and click save. And the system will update the class details and show the completed class, and then the actor will then press return to the menu and it will display the menu. The system will display the menu. We have also have the alternative. For example, if the email form wasn't correctly valid, it will come up an error menu and it will ask you to go back. Similar to how the last user case story happened, this entirely is in the customer booking. The actor, the customer system, first of all, the customer will then search for an event. The system will display it. The actor will then click the select event that he or she would want to go and visit. The system will then display more information on it. The actor would set the book the event. The system would display the booking form. The actor would fill out the form, and the system would check to see if the customer is old enough. There's an alternative here, and if it says it is not old enough, it will ask you options to go back and start looking for a new event. Otherwise, it would carry on and fill in the form payment. The system will take payment. The actor will go to the event, and the system would display the booking information. Next part of UML is a robust diagram. The robust diagram is more of an insight again to the expanded user stories on how it would work in the real life situation. The different type of icons you could use, whereas top left hand side of a profile menu is with the round circle with a line on the left hand side, it means you can stop there anytime. Next one is with a circle, a round circle with a arrow at the top, which would show it can be done over and over again. So start from the profile menu, we'll then be able to see this display profile, and then you can then go to the customer profile afterwards. The display profile we'll go back to, and you can see the customer information. You can edit this, edit details, and save. Again, you can finish there, or you can display the updated information and go along to the passionate information, and you can click done. This can be done over and over again. The second robustness diagram I have is on this customer booking. It's slightly more complex than the updating customer information. So it starts on the menu and you can display an event menu, display the details, event details. It gives you a more complex view of the details of the event. It can then go to event bookings, customer menu bookings, fill in details, save details, and it's still back and forth constantly going on. You can do this, you can change and go forth. It'll show the final booking, fill in the payment, save payment details, display final details, and confirmation. Again, you can do this again, book another booking many times as you want to. One of the final diagrams we can use on UML is a state transition diagram. It shows how a system would work in the real world. It demonstrates how a system works from start to finish using state box and the events move around from each state. For example, up here I have this update customer information. It starts from the customer ringing up, and the telephone operator would answer the phone, moving it along as the customer would ask to change the information. The operator would ask what they'd like to change. The customer then gives the information. The operator changes it on database. Customer asks to change something else, and that goes back to circle again, repeating, or they could finish. The second state transition diagram I'll be looking at will be the customer booking. Again, it uses the state boxes and the event to move it around from each state. So from the start we have the inquiring about events, and the telephone operator will then give information about event, moving it for the customer to choose an event. The operator then asks the details. The customer will state how old they are and how many people wanted to go. The operator then check age against it, and the customer then book the event. If for any chance they're too young to go to the event, they'll have to choose a new event. Otherwise, it would pay for a new event. The operator gives them travel information on the event. They'll go to the event, travels back, return from the event, and they'll give feedback on the event.